She was buying a metro ticket when the billionaire read his late daughter's name on her old bracelet, and he was speechless. The fluorescent lights of Union Square subway station buzzed like angry wasps, casting harsh shadows across Emma Collins' exhausted face. She stood at the ticket machine, counting her last few coins with calloused, trembling fingers. 347, just enough to get home to her roach-infested studio in the Bronx. Just enough to collapse into bed for 5 hours before her morning shift started all over again. 25 years old, and this was her life. Her white uniform, stained with ketchup and grease from the dinner rush at the Hope Diner, clung to her sweaty skin. The fabric had long ago lost its crispness, much like Emma had lost whatever dreams she might have had as a kid. Her feet throbbed in her dollar store sneakers. The left one had a hole near the big toe that let in water every time it rained. She'd worked a double shift today, 14 hours of coffee hun, and how'd you like that cooked, and fake smiles for customers who barely looked at her. As she fed quarters into the slot, something caught the light on her left wrist. A tarnished silver bracelet, delicate and ancient-looking, with an ornate clasp that had somehow survived decades of wear. It was the only thing Emma owned that meant anything, the only link to a past she couldn't remember. Sister Grace, God rest her soul, had told her it was on her wrist when they found her at St. Mary's Orphanage in Pittsburgh, March 2003. Emma had been maybe 3 years old, burning with fever, unconscious on the doorstep during a thunderstorm. No note, no explanation, just a sick little girl and a silver bracelet. That bracelet had survived foster homes, group homes, a group home fire, 2 attempted muggings, and more hunger than any kid should know. Emma had pawned everything else over the years. A stuffed bear, a broken watch, even her high school class ring, but never the bracelet. It was hers. It was her. She grabbed her Metro card from the machine and shuffled toward the downtown platform. Friday night crowds pushed and shoved around her. College kids heading to bars, couples dressed up for Broadway shows, business people finally escaping their offices. Emma felt invisible among them, which was fine. Invisibility was survival. On the opposite side of the platform, Daniel Harrison checked his Rolex for the 3rd time in 2 minutes. Where the hell was Marcus with the car? He had a dinner at Per Se in 40 minutes. Some tech CEO he needed to schmooze for a contract bid. Another handshake, another deal, another billion added to the pile. At 52, Daniel Harrison was exactly what you'd expect from a construction empire mogul. 6'2", silver hair expertly cut, Italian suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent, and eyes like chips of ice, cold, calculating. The kind of man who could look at a building site and see profit margins instead of steel and concrete. But tonight, those ice chip eyes looked haunted. March 15th, 25 years to the day. 25 years since Laura died. 25 years since baby Isabella disappeared. 25 years of searching, hoping, dying inside. 25 years of building an empire on top of a grave. Daniel had spent the afternoon at Greenwood Cemetery. Like he did every March 15th, he'd planted white orchids, Laura's favorite, and talked to a headstone that never answered back. She'd be 25 now, he'd whispered. Our baby girl. I wonder if she had your laugh, your eyes. I wonder if she's even alive. The question that tortured him every single day. Did Isabella die that night too, and he just never found her body? Or was she out there somewhere, living some life he knew nothing about? He loosened his tie, suddenly suffocated by the recycled subway air. He shouldn't be down here. Men like him didn't take subways. But Marcus had texted, stuck in traffic on the bridge, 20 minutes out. Daniel could either wait on the street corner like some schmuck or take the damn train. The downtown platform was packed. Daniel stood near the edge, checking his phone, trying not to think about baby fingers and Laura's blood and the screaming that never quite left his nightmares. The train's approaching rumble vibrated through the platform. The crowd surged forward like a wave. Emma gripped her worn purse tighter. Plenty of pickpockets down here on Friday nights. The surge came from behind her, sudden and violent. Someone's shoulder slammed into her back. Emma stumbled forward, her sneakers sliding on the grimy platform. For one terrifying second, she saw the tracks rushing up at her. Strong hands caught her arms, yanking her back. Hard, Emma crashed into someone's chest. Expensive cologne, starched shirt. She looked up, ready to thank whoever had saved her from becoming a subway pancake, and froze. The man staring down at her looked like he'd seen a ghost. His hands were still gripping her arms, fingers digging in almost painfully. His face had gone sheet white. His eyes, Jesus. His eyes looked wild, desperate, like someone drowning. "I'm sorry, Emma tried to pull away, but his grip tightened. Daniel couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process what he was seeing. The bracelet. The goddamn bracelet. Silver. Tarnished. Delicate. Hanging from the wrist of the young woman he'd just caught. And on that bracelet, even in the harsh subway lighting, even after decades, he could see the inscription he'd had engraved 25 years ago by a jeweler in Brooklyn, who'd since passed away. Isabella Harrison, 03/15/2000. The world tilted, his vision tunneled. Every sound in the station faded except for the pounding of his heart. "Where?" His voice came out strangled, barely human. "Where did you get that?" Emma's eyes widened. The man was hurting her, his fingers digging into her arms like claws, and he was staring at her bracelet like it was made of diamonds instead of tarnished silver. "Let go of me." She tried to twist away, panic rising in her throat. Daniel realized he was hurting her and loosened his grip, but didn't let go. Couldn't let go. His hands shook as they wrapped around her thin wrist, turning it gently to see the inscription clearly. Isabella Harrison, 03/15/2000, 25 years. 25 goddamn years. "Please," he whispered, and his voice broke. "Please, I need to know, where did you get this bracelet?" Emma's heart hammered. The man looked expensive. Designer suit, gold watch, manicured hands. But his face was wrecked with something that looked like grief. Raw, desperate grief. "It's mine," she said, hating how her voice shook. "I've had it since I was a kid. It's the only thing I have. Okay, just let me go. This bracelet." Daniel's throat closed up. He had to force the words out. "This bracelet belonged to my daughter. My daughter who died 25 years ago." The platform noise rushed back in. People pushed past them, annoyed at the holdup. A train squealed into the station across the way. Emma stared at this stranger, this rich, broken stranger, and something cold slithered down her spine. "I don't know what you're talking about," she whispered. "I found it. I had it. Since forever, the nuns at the orphanage said it was on me when they found me." Daniel's knees nearly gave out. Orphanage? When? Where? Pittsburgh. St. Mary's. March 2003. The words tumbled out. "I was about 3. They found me on the doorstep during a storm. I had a fever. No memory of anything before that. This bracelet was all I had." The math exploded in Daniel's brain like a bomb. Isabella went missing in March 2000. This girl showed up at an orphanage in March 2003. 3 years. Someone kept his daughter for 3 years and then just dumped her. "I need you to come with me," he said urgently. "I need you to take a DNA test, please. I'll pay you. Name your price." You're crazy." Emma finally wrenched free, stumbling backward. "You're some random rich guy having a breakdown. I'm not going anywhere with you." But even as she said it, she looked down at the bracelet, at the inscription she'd traced 1,000,000 times with her fingers. Isabella Harrison, 03/15/2000. She'd always wondered what it meant. Daniel pulled out his wallet with shaking hands, grabbed a business card, pressed it into her palm. "Daniel Harrison, Harrison Construction Group. Google me. I'm not crazy. I'm not lying. This bracelet," his voice cracked. "I had this made for my baby girl 3 weeks before someone took her. Before someone murdered my wife and stole my daughter. That's a one-of-a-kind piece. The jeweler who made it died in 2008. There's no other bracelet like it in the world." Emma stared at the business card. "Gold embossed. Definitely expensive. 1 DNA test," Daniel begged. "Please, if I'm wrong, I'll never bother you again. I'll pay you $10,000 just for your time, but if I'm right..." He couldn't finish. If he was right, the girl standing in front of him, in her stained waitress uniform and dollar store shoes, was his daughter, his Isabella, alive. Emma looked at him, at the desperate hope in his eyes. at the way his hands trembled. "If you're lying," she said slowly. "If this is some sick game, I'll make you pay." "I swear on my wife's grave," Daniel whispered. "Please." The train pulled into the station behind Emma. Doors opened. People flooded on. She made a decision that would change everything. "Fine, one test, but you pay up front." Daniel nodded, relief crashing over him so hard he had to steady himself against a pillar. Neither of them got on the train. Neither of them went home that night. And somewhere in Charleston, South Carolina, a 73-year-old woman named Patricia Green woke from a nightmare about a baby crying in a dead woman's arms, just like she had every night for 25 years. The clinic smelled like antiseptic and fear. Emma sat in the sterile waiting room, staring at the DNA testing consent form in her lap. Her pen hovered over the signature line, refusing to commit. Across from her, Daniel Harrison looked like he might throw up, pass out, or both. His usually immaculate appearance had cracks in it. Tie loosened, hair disheveled from running his hands through it a dozen times. "You okay?" she asked, surprising herself. Why did she care if this stranger was okay? "No," Daniel said honestly. His voice was hoarse. "I haven't been okay in 25 years. The nurse called her name. Emma stood, legs unsteady. This was insane. She was about to give her DNA to some billionaire who'd grabbed her in a subway station because of a bracelet. But something in his eyes, that raw, desperate hope, made her go through with it. The cheek swab took 30 seconds. Daniel went next, his hands shaking so badly the nurse had to steady his chin. "Results in 3 days," the nurse said cheerfully, like she was announcing the weather instead of potentially destroying or rebuilding 2 lives. 3 days. Daniel walked Emma outside, where his driver waited with a black Mercedes that probably cost more than Emma would make in 5 years. "I meant what I said. $10,000. He pulled out a checkbook. "Keep it," Emma said, arms crossed. "I didn't do this for money." "Then why did you?" She looked at him, really looked at him. Beneath the expensive suit and the corporate armor, she saw a man who'd lost everything. A man who visited graves and planted orchids and whispered to headstones. "Because you deserve to know the truth," she said quietly. "Whatever it is." Daniel's eyes filled with tears he refused to let fall. Can I at least give you my number? In case you need anything these next 3 days?" Emma took the card he offered. "Don't call me. I'll call you when the results come." She walked to the subway entrance, feeling his eyes on her back the whole way. Day 1 was the longest day of Daniel Harrison's life, and he'd lived through the day his wife was murdered. He sat in his corner office on the 47th floor of Harrison Tower, staring at blueprints he couldn't read, numbers that meant nothing. His assistant knocked 3 times before he heard her. "Mr. Harrison, the Williamson meeting. Cancel it." "Sir, that's a $100 million contract." "Cancel it." She left quickly. Word would spread. Daniel Harrison was losing it. Let them talk. He didn't care about contracts or buildings or empire right now. Marcus Webb, his attorney and best friend for 30 years, barged in without knocking. "Talk to me. What the hell happened last night?" Daniel told him everything. The subway, the bracelet, the girl, the DNA test. Marcus listened, face growing more skeptical with every word. "Daniel, I love you like a brother, but you need to hear this. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak. That bracelet could have been stolen, pawned, found in a trash can. This girl could be a very convincing con artist. She didn't want my money. I offered her $10,000. She refused. Because she's playing a long game. Come on, man. You're smarter than this." Marcus leaned forward. "Let me run a background check, please, before you get emotionally invested." "No." Daniel's voice was steel. "If she is my daughter and finds out I investigated her like a criminal, I'll lose her forever." "And if she's not your daughter?" Daniel stared out the window at the New York skyline, a city he'd helped build, a city that had taken everything from him. "Then I'm exactly where I've been for 25 years, alone." Marcus sighed, defeated. "I'll be here, whatever happens." That night, Daniel sat in Isabella's nursery. He'd kept it exactly as it was. Pale yellow walls, white crib, stuffed animals arranged on shelves. Laura had painted clouds on the ceiling. He lay on the floor, staring up at those clouds, and let himself imagine, what if Emma was Isabella, What if his daughter had survived? 25 years of life he knew nothing about. 25 birthdays he'd missed. First steps, first words, first heartbreak. She'd grown up in poverty while he built an empire. She'd been alone while he had everything. The guilt was suffocating. "Please, Laura," he whispered to the painted clouds. "Please let it be her. I can't lose her twice." Emma's day one was chaos. She'd called in sick to the Hope Diner, first time in 7 years, and spent the morning Googling Daniel Harrison. What she found made her stomach drop. Forbes profiles, construction empire worth billions, philanthropist, business titan, and buried in the archives. The tragedy: wife murdered, infant daughter missing in 2000 home invasion. There were photos of a younger Daniel, devastated, being led from a crime scene. Photos of a beautiful woman, Laura Harrison, marine biologist, smiling in happier times, and one grainy photo of a baby with dark hair and big eyes. Emma stared at that baby photo for 20 minutes, searching for herself in those features, looking for recognition that wouldn't come. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Emma Collins. "Who's this?" "Detective Sarah Mitchell, NYPD Cold Case Division. I understand you may have information regarding the Isabella Harrison case." Emma's heart stopped. "How did you—" "Mr. Harrison contacted me. I was one of the original investigators in 2000. I've been waiting 25 years for a break in this case." The detective's voice was intense, almost desperate. "I need to meet with you. The DNA results aren't back yet. We don't even know if that bracelet is evidence. I need to examine it, document it, and I need to hear your story." Emma felt cornered. "I don't remember anything before I was 3. Sometimes memories hide. Sometimes they come back with the right trigger. Please, Mrs. Collins, help me help you." They met at a coffee shop in Midtown. Detective Sarah Mitchell was mid-40s. Sharp eyes, gray streaking through dark hair. She looked at Emma the way Daniel had, like seeing a ghost. "You have her eyes," Sarah said quietly. "Laura's eyes." Emma touched her face self-consciously. "I don't remember her. Tell me about the orphanage. Every detail." Emma recounted the story she'd been told. March 2003, thunderstorm, Saint, Mary's doorstep, fever, no memory, Sister Grace taking her in, the bracelet being her only possession. Sarah took notes furiously. "Sister Grace, she's deceased. 5 years ago, cancer. Any other nuns from that time still alive? One, Sister Margaret, she's in a nursing home in Philadelphia, dementia." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Convenient. What's that supposed to mean?" "It means someone covered their tracks well." Sarah pulled out a file folder, extracted crime scene photos. "I'm going to show you something difficult. You can say no." Emma's hands trembled. "Show me." The photo was horror. A woman, Laura, on the floor, blood pooling around her, and in her arms. A bundle that must have been baby Isabella, though the baby wasn't in the frame. "Your mother died protecting you," Sarah said. "She took 3 bullets, every single one was aimed at you, and she put herself in the way." Tears streamed down Emma's face before she could stop them. She didn't remember this woman, but grief hit her like a freight train anyway. "Who did this? We never found them. The case went cold. But if you are Isabella..." Sarah's eyes burned with intensity. "Then someone kept you hidden for 3 years. Someone who probably killed your mother. And I'm going to find them." Day 2. Daniel couldn't eat. Food tasted like ash. His housekeeper, Maria, who'd worked for him for 15 years, threatened to call his doctor. "You need to eat, Mr. Harrison, please." "I can't." "What if the test comes back positive? You think your daughter wants to meet a father who's wasting away?" That got him. He forced down half a sandwich. Marcus stopped by that evening with scotch and sympathy. "Still no background check." "No. You're killing me, you know that." They sat in silence, drinking, watching the sun set over Manhattan. "What was Laura's favorite quote?" Marcus asked suddenly. Daniel smiled, remembering, "Hope is the thing with feathers," Emily Dickinson. She had it painted above Isabella's crib. His smile faded. "I haven't felt hope in so long, Marcus. I forgot what it feels like. And now," he gestured helplessly, "now I'm terrified it'll be ripped away again." "Or," Marcus said carefully, Maybe this time hope has feathers and flies you home. Day 3 nearly broke them both. Emma called the clinic at 9 a.m. Any results yet? We'll call you when they're ready, ma'am. She called at noon, at 2 p.m., at 4 p.m. Daniel did the same from his office, driving his assistant to the brink of insanity. At 5:47 p.m., both their phones rang simultaneously. Results are ready. You can pick them up at the clinic, or we can email them securely. I'll be there in 20 minutes, Daniel said. Same, Emma whispered. They arrived at the same time, meeting in the parking lot. Neither spoke. What was there to say? The nurse handed them a sealed envelope. Would you like to open it together or separately? Together, Daniel said, looking at Emma. She nodded. They sat in the waiting room. Empty now. After hours, Daniel's hands shook so badly he couldn't open the envelope. Emma took it from him, tore it open, pulled out the single sheet of paper. Her eyes scanned the text, found the number that mattered. 99.9% probability of paternity. The paper slipped from her fingers. Daniel caught it, read it himself. The words blurred through his tears. Probability of paternity. 99.9%. Oh my God, he whispered. Oh my God, you're alive, you're real, you're here. Emma stood abruptly, backing away. I need air. She ran outside. Daniel followed, found her doubled over in the parking lot, hyperventilating. I can't be. I'm Emma. I'm just Emma. You're Isabella, Daniel said, tears streaming. You're my daughter, my baby girl. You're alive. Emma looked at him, this stranger who was her father, and felt her entire identity shatter. Everything she thought she knew about herself was a lie. The news hit the media like a nuclear bomb. Emma woke up to her phone ringing nonstop. Unknown numbers, blocked calls, reporters who'd somehow gotten her information. She ignored them all, but when she pulled back her apartment's grimy curtain, she saw them. A cluster of news vans parked on her street, cameras aimed at her building. Oh God, she whispered. Her neighbor, Mrs. Chen, pounded on the door. Emma, there are people outside asking about you. What's going on? Emma didn't answer. She grabbed her phone, saw 17 missed calls from Daniel, and finally called him back. Emma, I'm so sorry, he said immediately. Someone at the clinic leaked it. I don't know who, but it's everywhere. I'm sending a car for you. Don't go outside alone. I have work in an hour. No, you don't. I already called the Hope Diner. You're taking time off. Anger flared. You can't just make decisions for me. Emma, there are reporters at your apartment building at the diner. They're calling you the lost billionaire princess. If you walk outside right now, they'll swarm you. She looked out the window again. He was right. 2 reporters were trying to get past the building's main door. I'll send Marcus, my attorney. He'll bring you somewhere safe. I don't want somewhere safe. I want my life back. But her life was already gone. Marcus Webb arrived 40 minutes later with 2 security guards. They surrounded Emma like a protective wall, hustling her through the lobby while reporters shouted questions. Emma, is it true you're Daniel Harrison's daughter? How does it feel to go from waitress to billionaire? Did you know who you were all along? The last question made her stop. Turn, anger blazing. I'm not a billionaire. I'm Emma Collins. And no, I had no idea. Marcus pulled her into the SUV before she could say more. Don't engage, not a single word. They'll twist everything. This is insane, Emma muttered, watching her apartment building disappear behind tinted windows. This is your life now, Marcus said, not unkindly, whether you want it or not. They drove to a luxury hotel in Midtown. Daniel had booked an entire floor for privacy. Marcus led her to a suite bigger than her entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Central Park. Marble bathroom, king-sized bed, with sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Daniel was waiting inside, pacing. He looked as wrecked as Emma felt. No tie, shirt wrinkled, eyes red from lack of sleep. I'm sorry, he said again. I tried to keep it quiet. I wanted to give you time to process before the world found out. Emma sank onto the couch. Too late for that. I've hired security, a PR team, whatever you need. I need you to stop. Emma exploded. Stop throwing money at this. Stop making decisions for me. I didn't ask for any of this. Daniel stopped pacing. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to help. You can start by giving me space to breathe. He nodded, stepped back. The hurt in his eyes was obvious, but he respected her boundary. Marcus cleared his throat. We need to discuss next steps. The media won't go away. You'll need to make a statement. I'm not making a statement. Emma, if you don't control the narrative, they will. Right now, you're the mystery girl, the Cinderella story, but it can turn ugly fast. People will dig into your past. They'll interview everyone you've ever known. Emma thought about her life. Foster homes, group homes, dead-end jobs, nothing glamorous, nothing she particularly wanted dissected on national television. What kind of statement? Brief, factual. We confirm the DNA results, ask for privacy during this difficult time. That's it. And if I don't, Marcus showed her his phone. Headlines already screamed, Billionaire's long-lost daughter found, from orphan to heiress. The miracle baby. One tabloid had dug up Emma's mugshot from when she was 18, arrested for shoplifting food when she was homeless for 2 weeks between foster placements. The charges had been dropped, but the photo existed. They're already writing the story, Marcus said gently. You might as well write your own. That afternoon, Emma returned to the Hope Diner to get her things. The owner, Lou, met her at the door with an apologetic face. Emma, sweetheart, I gotta let you go. Her stomach dropped. What? Why? Reporters are scaring away customers. Been here all morning asking questions. I can't have that kind of chaos. He pressed an envelope into her hands. 2 weeks severance. I'm sorry, kid. 7 years. 7 years she'd worked there. And just like that, it was gone. Emma walked out in a daze. The reporters descended immediately. Emma, how does it feel to be fired? Will Daniel Harrison sue the diner? Are you going to work for your father's company? The security guard Daniel had assigned, a guy named Torres, pushed them back. No comment? Move. In the SUV, Emma stared at the severance envelope. $200. That was what 7 years of loyalty got you. Torres glanced at her in the rearview mirror. First time. First time what? Realizing people treat you different when you got money attached to your name. I don't have money. You got a billionaire father. Same thing. Emma thought about Lou, who'd always praised her work ethic, who'd given her Christmas bonuses and let her take home leftover food. Now she was a liability, a problem to be solved. I hate this, she whispered. It gets easier, Torres said. Or you get numb, one of the two. That evening, Daniel asked if he could take her to dinner. Emma almost said no, but something in his face, the desperate hope, made her agree. They went to a small Italian place Daniel had rented out entirely for privacy. No other diners, just them. Soft music, and the weight of 25 years between them. I don't know how to do this, Emma said, staring at her menu. Neither do I, Daniel admitted. I've imagined this moment 1,000 times. Finding you, talking to you, but I never got past that part in my head. What did you imagine? You'd remember me, remember your mother. We'd hug and cry and everything would just click into place. He smiled sadly. Pretty stupid, huh? Not stupid, just not reality. The waiter brought wine. Emma had never had wine at a restaurant before. Couldn't afford it. She sipped carefully. Tell me about her, Emma said suddenly. My mother, Laura. Daniel's face transformed, for the first time since she'd met him. He looked genuinely happy. Laura was brilliant. Marine biologist, specialized in coral reef restoration. She could talk for hours about ocean ecosystems. He laughed softly. She was terrible at cooking, burned everything, but she'd laugh at herself, order pizza, and declare it a victory. Emma found herself smiling. She loved orchids. Our house was full of them. She said they were proof that beauty could thrive in the strangest places. His voice caught. She would have loved seeing you again. Knowing you survived. Tell me about that night, Emma said quietly. The night she died. Daniel's smile vanished. Are you sure? I need to know. He took a long drink of wine. March 15th, 2000. I was at a construction site in Jersey. Late meeting. Laura called. Said she heard something downstairs. I told her to lock herself in the bedroom with you. Call 911. I was already in the car, breaking every speed limit. His hands shook. I got there 23 minutes later. Police were already there. Laura was on the floor. You were gone. What did they take? Nothing. No jewelry. No money. Nothing. It wasn't a robbery. He looked at her with haunted eyes. It was about you. Someone came specifically to take you. But why? Why me? That's what I've been trying to figure out for 25 years. They ate in heavy silence. Emma pushed pasta around her plate. I want to see where it happened, she said finally. Daniel paled. Emma, I don't think... I need to see it, please. He closed his eyes. Okay, if that's what you need. The house was in Westchester, a sprawling estate behind iron gates. Daniel hadn't lived there in 25 years. Kept it as a shrine, unchanged. They walked through rooms frozen in time. Photos of Laura everywhere. Baby toys still in boxes. The nursery with painted clouds on the ceiling. Emma touched the crib railing. This was mine. You slept there exactly one night before. He couldn't finish. Downstairs, in the living room, there was a dark stain on the hardwood floor. Someone had tried to clean it, but Emma knew what it was. Blood. Her mother's blood. She knelt beside it, pressed her palm to the wood. Something broke open inside her. Not a memory exactly, but a feeling. Terror. Gunshots. Crying. She died right here, holding me. Yes, the police said she took 3 bullets. Everyone meant for you. She used her body as a shield. Emma's tears fell onto the stain. I don't remember her. I should remember her. Daniel knelt beside her. You were 6 months old, but she remembered you. Every second of her life after you were born. She loved you with everything she had, and in her last moments, she proved it. They cried together on that floor, mourning a woman Emma never knew but who'd given everything for her. Late that night, back at the hotel, Emma stood at the window watching the city lights. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Saw you on the news, so you're some rich man's daughter now. Too good for us. Melissa, from the group home. One of the few people Emma had considered a friend. Another text. Don't forget where you came from. Emma threw her phone on the bed. She couldn't win. Too poor for the rich world. Too rich for the poor one now. Stuck in between. A knock on the door. Daniel stood there with 2 mugs. Hot chocolate, he said. Laura used to make it for me when I couldn't sleep. Figured you might. Emma took the mug. It was perfect. Rich. Sweet. Exactly right. They sat in silence, drinking chocolate, watching the city. I don't know how to be your daughter, Emma said finally. I don't know how to be your father, Daniel replied. But maybe we can figure it out together. Emma looked at him. This stranger with her DNA, this man who'd lost everything and somehow still had enough hope to offer her hot chocolate at midnight. Maybe, she said. It wasn't much, but it was a start. 3 weeks after the DNA results, Emma sat in Dr. Angela Price's office. Tell me about the nightmares, Dr. Price said. Emma stared at her hands. Not memories, just feelings, fear, gunpowder, screaming. But when I wake up, nothing. Trauma from that young gets buried deep. Dr. Price leaned forward. You experienced something horrific at 6 months, then lived in hiding until 3. Those years are a black hole. I want to remember. Why? Because everyone tells me who I was, Isabella Harrison, but I don't feel like her. I feel like Emma Collins, the orphan nobody wanted. Her voice cracked. Which one is real? What if they're both real? You survived Isabella's trauma and became Emma's strength. You're integrating them. Dr. Price smiled. That takes time. Daniel had established a routine. Every Tuesday and Friday, he'd text asking about dinner. Sometimes Emma said yes. Sometimes she needed space. He never pushed. This Friday, she said yes. They met at a quiet bistro. Daniel pulled out a worn photo album. Your mother, our life before. Emma's heart jumped. The first photo showed Laura, heavily pregnant, laughing. She wore dirty overalls, holding an orchid. She was planting when her water broke, Daniel said, smiling. Refused to go to the hospital until she finished. Emma touched the photo. Laura had dark curly hair, bright eyes. You look like her, Daniel said quietly. Same eyes, same stubborn chin. Baby Isabella, fat cheeks, dark hair. Laura holding her. Daniel leaning over them both, his face transformed by joy. "That's the happiest I've ever been," Daniel said. "I thought my life was perfect." Emma stared at the family she'd never known. "What was I like?" Daniel's eyes lit up. "Loud, God. You had lungs. Laura joked you'd be an opera singer or drill sergeant." He laughed. "You hated sleeping. We'd take turns walking you at 2 a.m. Laura would sing Beatles songs. Blackbird was your favorite. You'd stop crying instantly. Blackbird," Emma whispered. "You know it. I hum it when I'm anxious. I never knew why." Daniel's eyes filled. "That's Laura. She's still with you." More photos. Laura reading to baby Isabella. Daniel holding her at a construction site. Tiny hard hat on. Family dinners. Christmas. A life interrupted. "I'm sorry I don't remember," Emma said. "Don't apologize, you were so young." Daniel closed the album. "I just want you to know you were loved. Desperately loved." Emma felt something crack open. Grief for a life stolen. Gratitude she'd been loved. "Can I keep this?" Daniel's smile was brilliant. "It's yours." The following week, Emma visited Daniel's penthouse. She'd been putting it off. Afraid of what she'd find, the elevator opened into floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture, expensive art, and empty, desperately empty. "Maria," Daniel called. A woman in her 60s emerged, eyes widening. "Dios mío." "Isabella." "Emma, this is Maria Rodriguez. She's kept me alive 15 years. Maria pulled Emma into a fierce hug. "I prayed for you every day." She pulled back, hands on Emma's face. "Your mama would be so proud. I made your father's favorite," Maria said. "Now yours too, what do you like?" Emma laughed. "I don't know. I've never really had a choice." Then we try everything. Maria served dish after dish. Emma tried it all. "The lasagna?" Emma said finally. "That's perfect. Then lasagna every Friday." "This is your home too." Emma looked around. "I could never afford a place like this." Daniel and Maria exchanged glances. "Emma," Daniel said carefully, "you're my sole heir. Half of everything is already in trust for you." "Stop." Emma stood abruptly. "I don't want your money. It's not about want, it's inheritance. It's yours by right. I didn't earn it. I'm just some girl with the right DNA. You can't buy me. I'm not trying to buy you. I'm trying to give you what should have been yours." Daniel stood too. "You grew up in poverty while I lived like this. You went hungry while I threw away food. You think money fixes that? No, but it's all I have to give." They stared at each other, breathing hard. Maria cleared her throat. "Sit, both of you." They sat. "Emma, he's not trying to buy you. He's trying to protect you. It's all he knows." She turned to Daniel. "And you, stop throwing money at problems. Your daughter doesn't need your wallet. She needs your time, your stories, your love." Silence. Emma spoke first. "I don't need mansions or trust funds. I just need to know you want me for me, not some lost piece you're trying to fix." Daniel's voice cracked. "You're not a piece to fix. You're my daughter, the only thing that matters. Then stop trying to rescue me." "I survived 25 years without you," Emma softened. "But I'd like to know you, the real you. Not billionaire Daniel Harrison, just Dad." First time she'd said it, Daniel's tears fell. "Just Dad, I can do that." Maria smiled. "Good. Now eat before it gets cold." That night, Daniel showed Emma a library. Laura's collection, marine biology, poetry, philosophy. She was always reading. He pulled out a worn volume. Emily Dickinson, her favorite. He opened to a marked page. "Hope is the thing with feathers. She had this painted in your nursery. She wanted you to grow up with hope." Emma read the poem, touched Laura's notes in the margins. "Can I borrow this?" "It's yours. Everything of Laura's is yours." Emma held the book to her chest. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For keeping her alive. For loving her enough to preserve all this." Daniel pulled Emma into a hug. Their first real one. She stiffened, then relaxed. "I love you," Daniel whispered. "I loved you the day you were born. Every day you were gone, and every day since. I need you to know that. Emma closed her eyes. I'm trying. To feel it. To believe it. That's enough. For now. That's enough. They stood in Laura's library, holding each other, building a bridge across 25 years. Outside, the city glittered. Inside, something fragile took root. Hope. The thing with feathers, finally learning to fly, Detective Sarah Mitchell stood in her office, surrounded by 25 years of failure. The Isabella Harrison case files covered every available surface. Witness statements yellowed with age, crime scene photos she'd memorized, leads that went nowhere. But now she had something new, something that changed everything. She dialed Daniel's number. He answered on the first ring. I found something, Sarah said without preamble. Can you and Emma come to the precinct? What did you find? Not over the phone. 1 hour. Emma sat in the back of Daniel's car, Torres driving them through Manhattan traffic. Her stomach churned with anxiety. What do you think she found? Emma asked. Daniel's jaw was tight. I don't know, but Sarah doesn't call unless it's important. They arrived at the precinct, a gray building that smelled like old coffee and desperation. Sarah met them in a conference room, spreading files across the table. I've been cross-referencing cold cases with the timeline of your disappearance, Sarah began, looking for patterns. And I found one? She pulled out a file. February 2003, a private clinic in Newark. Illegal operation, shut down by the feds. Treated a young child matching Isabella's age for severe fever. The person who brought her in used a fake name, Mary Smith. Emma leaned forward. That was a month before I showed up at the orphanage. Exactly. Sarah pulled out a grainy security photo. The clinic had cameras. Most footage was destroyed. But I found this. The image showed a woman in her late 40s, face partially obscured by a hat, carrying a small child wrapped in a blanket. I ran this through facial recognition. No matches, but I cross-referenced it with something else. Sarah pulled out another file. Employee records from Harrison Construction, 1995 to 2000 specifically. Household staff. Daniel's face went pale. You think someone who worked for us took her? I think someone with access to your home, who knew your routines, who could get close enough to execute a kidnapping. Yes. Sarah spread out personnel files. I've narrowed it down to 3 possibilities, all fired or resigned in the year before the kidnapping. Emma's hands trembled as she looked through the files. Who are they? Sarah pointed to each one. James Chen, landscaper, fired for theft in 1999, currently deceased, car accident in 2005. Patricia Green, housekeeper, fired for... Sarah looked at Daniel. Stealing Laura's jewelry, Daniel finished, voice hollow. June 1999. She'd worked for us for 3 years. Laura trusted her completely. Finding out she'd been stealing, Laura was devastated. Where is she now? Emma asked. Charleston, South Carolina, living under her maiden name, Patricia Brennan. She's 73. The third file showed a young man, Edward Carter, driver, resigned abruptly in August 1999. No forwarding address. Criminal record. Assault, robbery. He disappeared completely after leaving your employment. Daniel stood abruptly, pacing. Edward. I remember him. Laura never liked him. Said something about him felt wrong. But he came highly recommended, and He closed his eyes. I should have listened to her. Edward Carter resurfaced briefly in 2004. Sarah continued. Arrested in Miami for assault. Served 2 years. Released in 2006. Then vanished again. Current whereabouts unknown. Emma stared at the photos. One of these people might have murdered her mother, might have kept her prisoner for 3 years. What's the connection between Patricia and Edward? Emma asked. Sarah smiled grimly. That's the interesting part. Patricia's phone records from 1999. I pulled them from archives. Show multiple calls to a burner phone. The same burner that called Edward Carter's known associates. They were working together, Daniel said. That's my theory. Patricia had access and knowledge. Edward had criminal experience and muscle. Together they planned the kidnapping. But why? Emma's voice broke. Why take me? Why kill my mother? Money, Sarah said bluntly. There was never a ransom demand, which puzzled us for years. But I think the plan was ransom. They just never got the chance to execute it. Laura fought back, got shot, and everything went wrong. They panicked, took you anyway, and went into hiding. Daniel sank into a chair. So for 3 years, my daughter was with her mother's killer. The weight of those words crushed the room into silence. Emma felt bile rise in her throat. I need air. She stumbled into the hallway. Gasping, Daniel followed, but she held up a hand. Don't, just give me a minute. She pressed her back against the cold wall, sliding down until she sat on the floor. 3 years. 3 years with monsters who'd murdered Laura. 3 years of her life stolen by people motivated by greed. Daniel sat beside her, not touching, just present. I don't remember them, Emma whispered. I don't remember their faces or voices or anything. It's just blank. Maybe that's a mercy. Or maybe it's a curse because I can't help catch them. I can't give you justice. I don't need justice from you, Daniel said quietly. I just need you safe. Sarah emerged from the conference room. I'm bringing Patricia Green in for questioning. It'll take a day or two to coordinate with Charleston PD, but we'll get her. I want to be there, Emma said, standing. When you question her, Emma, I don't think she took everything from me, my mother, my childhood, my identity. Emma's voice was steel. I deserve to look her in the eye. Sarah looked at Daniel, who nodded slowly. Okay, Sarah said, but you watch from observation. You don't interfere. Understood. Understood. 2 days later, Emma stood in the observation room behind one-way glass, watching an old woman being led into the interrogation room. Patricia Green looked nothing like a monster. She was small, frail, with white hair pulled into a neat bun. She wore a cardigan and sensible shoes. She looked like somebody's grandmother. But when Sarah showed her the photo from the clinic, Patricia's face crumbled. I want a lawyer, she whispered. You're not under arrest, Sarah said smoothly. Just answering questions about your former employment with the Harrison family. I don't remember much. It was so long ago. Sarah slid the crime scene photo across the table. Laura's body, blood pooling. Patricia went white. Do you remember this? Patricia's hands shook. She looked at the photo and tears started falling. I never meant... It wasn't supposed to happen like that. Sarah leaned forward. What wasn't supposed to happen like that, Patricia? Silence then, in a voice barely above a whisper. We just wanted the money. The ransom, that's all. But she fought. Laura fought so hard. Edward panicked. The gun went off. Patricia looked up, eyes hollow. I hear that gunshot every night, every single night for 25 years. Emma gripped the edge of the observation window so hard her knuckles went white. What happened to the baby? Sarah asked. Patricia's face twisted. I couldn't leave her there. In all that blood, she was crying, screaming. I took her. I thought I could fix it somehow, make it right. You kept her for 3 years. I couldn't kill her. I tried. God help me. I tried. Edward wanted to. Said she was a witness. A liability. But every time I looked at her, Patricia sobbed. She had Laura's eyes. I couldn't do it. So you abandoned her at an orphanage. I gave her a chance. I could have killed her, but I gave her a chance. Patricia's voice rose hysterically. I kept the bracelet on her so someone would know who she was. I thought maybe someone would find her, return her to her father. But you made sure no one could trace her back to you, Sarah said coldly. I was scared. Edward said he'd kill me if I talked. He's still out there. Patricia's eyes widened with terror. You have to protect me. If he finds out I talked, he'll come for me. Where is Edward Carter? I don't know, I swear. We split up in 2003. Haven't seen him since. He said if I ever contacted him or told anyone, he'd finish what he started. Sarah stood. Patricia Green, you're under arrest for kidnapping, accomplice to murder and conspiracy. You have the right to remain silent. Patricia's wails echoed through the station. Emma turned away from the glass, stumbling. Daniel caught her. I was with her, Emma choked out. For 3 years, I was with the woman who helped kill my mother, who almost killed me. But she didn't, Daniel said fiercely. You survived. You're here. You're alive. Edward's still out there. Daniel's face hardened. Sarah will find him. But even as he said it, Emma saw the fear in his eyes. Edward Carter was still out there, and now he'd know they were coming for him. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She stood at her hotel window, watching the city, feeling exposed despite being 40 floors up. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. I know who you are. The voice was male. Rough. Cold. You ruined everything, you little bitch, just like your mother. Emma's blood froze. Patricia talked. Didn't she, stupid woman? She always was weak. A dark laugh. But I'm not weak, and I'm not done with you. The line went dead. Emma dropped the phone, gasping. Her security guard, Torres, burst through the door at her scream. What happened? He called. Edward, he knows. He knows everything. Torres immediately radioed Daniel, called Sarah. Within minutes, the hotel room swarmed with police. But Emma knew the truth, cold and certain in her bones. Edward Carter was coming for her, and this time, he wouldn't leave a survivor. Sarah Mitchell played the recorded phone call for the 10th time, analyzing every breath, every syllable. I know who you are. You ruined everything, you little bitch, just like your mother. The voice was distorted. Edward had used some kind of filter, but the threat was crystal clear. We're tracing the call, Sarah told Daniel and Emma in her office the next morning. But he's smart, used a burner, probably already destroyed it. Emma looked like she hadn't slept. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. Torres stood behind her chair like a sentinel. What about Patricia? Daniel asked. Can she tell us where Edward might be? She swears she doesn't know, and I believe her. She's terrified of him. Sarah pulled out a file. But she's agreed to cooperate fully. We're offering a plea deal. 25 years with possibility of parole after 15 in exchange for her full testimony. That's it. Emma's voice was sharp. She helped murder my mother, kept me prisoner for 3 years, and she gets the possibility of parole. It's the best way to ensure we catch Edward, Sarah said. And honestly, Emma, Patricia's testimony is our strongest weapon. Without it, we might never find him. Emma stood abruptly, pacing. I want to talk to her. Absolutely not, Daniel said. She owes me answers, real answers, not whatever sanitized version she's giving you. Sarah exchanged a glance with Daniel. It's highly irregular. I don't care about regular. None of this is regular. Emma's voice cracked. Please, I need to understand why. I need to hear it from her. After a long silence, Sarah nodded. One conversation, supervised, and the second, I think it's too much. We're done. They set it up that afternoon. Patricia sat in the interrogation room, handcuffed, looking smaller than ever when Emma walked in. The old woman's face crumpled. Isabella, she whispered. Don't call me that, Emma said, sitting across from her. You don't get to call me that. Patricia nodded, tears streaming. I understand. Emma stared at her. This woman who'd stolen her childhood. She'd expected to feel rage. Instead, she felt nothing, just empty. Why? Emma asked finally. Why did you do it? Patricia's hands shook. Money. That's what I told myself at first. Daniel had so much, and I had nothing. I'd worked my whole life for people like him, scrubbing their floors, raising their children while mine grew up without me. I resented it, hated it. So you decided to steal a baby. Edward convinced me. He said it would be easy, quick ransom. Then we'd disappear. Start over somewhere warm. I was stupid enough to believe him. Patricia's voice broke. But Laura? She fought. Edward told her to hand over the baby, but she wouldn't. She held you so tight, screaming for help. And Edward, Patricia closed her eyes. The gun went off, once, twice, 3 times. The sound was so loud, and Laura, she fell. But she never let you go. Even dying, she protected you. Emma's nails dug into her palms. And then, you were covered in blood. Screaming, Edward wanted to leave you there. But I grabbed you. We ran. Patricia opened her eyes, meeting Emma's gaze. I told myself I saved you, that I was a hero. But I know the truth. I was just too much of a coward to finish what we started. You kept me for 3 years. Where? A cabin. Upstate New York. Middle of nowhere. Edward left after 6 months. Said it was too risky staying together. It was just you and me. Patricia's voice turned almost wistful. You were such a sweet child. Barely cried. You'd play with whatever I gave you. Sticks. Rocks. Old magazines. You called me Mama. Emma felt sick. When you got sick in 2003, I panicked. Fever so high you were shaking. I took you to that clinic, terrified you'd die. And while I sat in that waiting room, holding you, I realized what I'd become. A monster. A murderer's accomplice. A kidnapper. So you left me at an orphanage. I left you where someone would find you, take care of you. I kept the bracelet on so someday, maybe, you'd find your way home. Patricia leaned forward desperately. I know it doesn't make it right. Nothing makes it right. But I need you to know. I never stopped thinking about you, praying for you, hoping you were okay. You don't get forgiveness, Emma said coldly. You don't get redemption. You murdered my mother. You stole my life. Your guilt doesn't change that. Patricia nodded, tears falling. I know, but I need to tell you one more thing about Edward. Emma waited. He's obsessed with you, with Daniel, with finishing what he started before we split. He'd talk about it constantly, how it was your fault everything went wrong, how if you'd just died with Laura, we'd have gotten away clean. Patricia's voice dropped to a terrified whisper. He kept newspaper clippings about your case, photos of Daniel. He was planning something even then. And now, after 25 years, he's not just dangerous, he's insane. Where would he go? Where would he hide? I don't know. He had contacts. Criminals he worked with, Miami, maybe, or Mexico. He always talked about disappearing to Mexico. Patricia grabbed the table. But he'll come for you. He won't be able to resist. You're the one loose end he never tied up. Emma stood. Then let him come. Because this time, I'm not a helpless baby. She walked out without looking back. In the hallway, Daniel pulled Emma into his arms. She let him, suddenly exhausted. You okay? He asked. No, but I will be. Sarah approached. That was brave and helpful. We're coordinating with Miami PD and Border Patrol. If Edward tries to run, we'll catch him. And if he doesn't run, Emma asked. If he comes after me, then we'll be ready. Sarah's face was grim. I'm assigning round-the-clock protection. Torres plus a full team. You don't go anywhere without security. I'm not living in a cage. It's temporary until we catch him. Emma wanted to argue, but the memory of Edward's voice on the phone stopped her. I'm not done with you. That night, Daniel convinced Emma to stay at his penthouse instead of the hotel. More secure, and honestly, I'll sleep better knowing you're close. Maria had prepared Emma's favorite lasagna. They ate in the dining room overlooking the city, Torres stationed by the door. Can I ask you something? Emma said suddenly. Anything? Do you blame me? For what happened to Laura? Daniel's fork clattered to his plate. What? No, Emma. How could you even... If I hadn't been born, Laura would still be alive. Patricia said it herself. I was the target. Laura died protecting me. Laura died protecting her daughter, the person she loved most in the world. Daniel reached across the table, taking Emma's hand. If she were here, if she could see you now, strong, brave, surviving despite everything, she'd be so proud, and she'd tell you the same thing I'm telling you. None of this is your fault. Not 1 second of it. Emma's tears fell. I wish I remembered her, really remembered her. Not just stories, but her voice, her smell, her laugh. She laughed like sunshine, Daniel said softly, loud and uncontrolled. It was my favorite sound in the world. They sat in silence, holding hands across the table, connected by grief and love, and the ghost of a woman who'd given everything. At 2 a.m., Emma woke to her phone buzzing, another unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something made her answer. Hello? Did Patricia tell you about the cabin? Edward's voice, cold and clear. About how you called her Mama, how cute you were. Emma's heart hammered. How did you? I have friends everywhere, even in police stations. He laughed. You think you're safe in Daddy's tower? You think bodyguards will stop me. What do you want? What I've always wanted, to finish the job. Your mother took 3 bullets meant for you. I've been waiting 25 years to correct that mistake. Then come and try, Emma said, voice steady despite her terror. I'm not a baby anymore. I'll fight back like my mother did. Good, Edward said. I like a challenge. See you soon. Isabella. The line went dead. Emma sat in darkness, phone clutched in her shaking hand. Torres burst in, gun drawn. What happened? He called again. He's coming. He said he has contacts in the police. Within minutes, the penthouse was on full lockdown. Sarah arrived furious. We've got a leak. Someone's feeding him information. She looked at Emma. We need to move you. Somewhere he can't find you. No, Emma said. I'm done running. I'm done hiding. Emma, Daniel started. He's been controlling my life since before I could walk. No more. She looked at Sarah. Use me as bait. Draw him out. Absolutely not, Daniel said. It's the only way to catch him. You know it is. Sarah and Daniel exchanged looks. I'll think about it, Sarah said finally. But you don't make that decision alone. Understood. Emma nodded. But in her heart, she'd already decided. Edward Carter had stolen her mother, her childhood, her identity. Now it was her turn to take something from him. His freedom, or his life. She didn't particularly care which. The betrayal came from within. Officer Kevin Martinez, a 10-year veteran of the NYPD, had been feeding information to Edward Carter for $15,000. Sarah discovered it through phone records. A rookie mistake. Calls from Martinez's personal cell to a burner that pinged near the Mexican border. How much does he know? Daniel asked, standing in Sarah's office at dawn. Sarah's face was granite. Everything. Your address, Emma's location, our security protocols. Martinez had access to all of it. Emma sat numbly in the corner. Another person she should have been able to trust. Bought and paid for. Where is he now? Torres asked. In custody, singing like a canary to save his own skin. Sarah threw a file on her desk. He confirmed Edward's in the country. New York, actually. Been here for 3 days, planning. 3 days, Daniel said. He's been here 3 days, and we had no idea. He's using aliases, paying cash, staying off-grid. But Martinez gave us something useful. Edward's obsession. He doesn't just want Emma dead. He wants Daniel to suffer first, to watch his daughter die. Like Laura did. Emma's voice was quiet. Then give him what he wants. Everyone turned. Emma, no, Daniel said. Not really. A trap. Make him think he's got the upper hand, then close it around him. Sarah studied her. You're serious. He's not going to stop. You know it. I know it. We can hide me away forever, or we can end this. Marcus Webb burst through the door, breathless. We need to talk now. He carried a folder, threw it on Sarah's desk. Inside were financial records, wire transfers, shell companies, money moving through offshore accounts. What am I looking at? Sarah asked. The Harrison family fortune, Marcus said. Specifically, the vultures circling it. He pulled out photos. Robert Harrison, Daniel's cousin, Catherine Harrison, his niece, both living beyond their means, drowning in debt, both expecting to inherit when Daniel eventually dies. But now Emma's back, and she's the sole heir. Daniel's face darkened. You think they're involved with Edward. I think they have motive. I think $15 million in gambling debts. Robert's number makes people desperate. Marcus showed bank statements. And I think Catherine's offshore account received a deposit of $50,000 the same day Edward's burner phone became active. Emma stood. They hired him. My own family hired him to kill me. We don't know that for certain, Sarah cautioned. But it makes sense, Marcus said. Robert and Catherine knew about the DNA test. I foolishly kept them informed. They knew Emma was legitimate. And suddenly Edward resurfaces, perfectly timed. Daniel's hands clenched into fists. Bring them in. Now. Robert Harrison was 62, bloated from expensive whiskey and cheap ethics. He sat in interrogation with his lawyer, radiating false confidence. This is harassment, the lawyer said. My client has done nothing wrong. Sarah slid a bank statement across the table. Then explain the wire transfer to Cayman Islands account number 4782B, the same account that paid Officer Martinez. Robert's face paled. I don't know anything about... Your niece Catherine already confessed. Sarah lied smoothly. She's cooperating. Says it was all your idea. That bitch! Robert slammed the table. I told her to keep her mouth shut. His lawyer's head dropped into his hands. So you admit it, Sarah said. Robert's face twisted with rage. That girl isn't Isabella. She's some con artist. And Daniel's too blind to see it. The fortune is mine. I'm family. I've been here for 30 years while his precious daughter was dead. She's not dead, Emma said, stepping into the room despite Sarah's orders to stay out. I'm right here, Robert sneered. You're nobody. A waitress with convenient DNA. You don't deserve... I don't deserve my mother dying to protect me. Emma's voice was ice. I don't deserve growing up in poverty while you drank away your inheritance. Tell me, Uncle Robert, what do I deserve? Don't call me uncle. You're not family. You're right. Family doesn't hire killers. Emma leaned close. Where's Edward Carter? I don't know any Edward. Catherine gave us the emails, Sarah interrupted. You contacted Edward through a dark web forum, offered him $2 million to eliminate the problem. Your words. Robert's lawyer stood. My client invokes his right to remain silent. Too late, Sarah said. Robert Harrison, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, wire fraud, and about 15 other charges. You're done. As officers led Robert away, he screamed at Emma, You should have stayed dead. You should have died with your mother. Daniel appeared in the doorway, face white with rage. For a moment, Emma thought he might lunge at Robert, but he just stood there, watching his cousin, his family, being dragged away. I'm sorry, Daniel said quietly. Emma took his hand. Not your fault. I brought them into your life, into our lives. And now they're out. Forever. Catherine Harrison broke faster. Only 38. Drowning in credit card debt and a failed art gallery. She cried through her confession. Robert said it would look like Edward acting alone, that we'd never be connected. He promised nobody would get hurt. Just scare her into leaving. Catherine looked at Emma through the glass. I'm sorry, I was desperate. Desperate enough to murder someone, Sarah asked. I didn't think he'd really do it. I thought. Catherine sobbed. I'm not a killer. You just paid one. Same thing. Sarah stood. Where's Edward now? I don't know. Robert handled everything. I just transferred the money. Not good enough, but Catherine genuinely didn't know. She'd been the money, Robert the brains, and Edward was still out there. That afternoon, Marcus met privately with Emma and Daniel in the penthouse. I owe you an apology, he said to Emma. I doubted you. Thought you might be after Daniel's money. I was wrong. Emma nodded. You were protecting him. I get it. Still, I'm sorry. Marcus pulled out papers. I've restructured everything. The trust is ironclad now. Robert and Catherine are cut out entirely, and I've set up the foundation you mentioned. Star of Hope. Once this is over, we can start operations. Star of Hope, Daniel asked. Emma explained her idea. Cafes employing youth from foster care, giving them opportunities she almost didn't have. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. Laura would love that, he said. I know. Emma smiled. That's why I'm doing it. Marcus cleared his throat. There's one more thing. Legal name change. You've been going by Emma Collins, but your birth name is Isabella Harrison. We can keep Emma as a middle name. Isabella Emma Harrison. Make it official. Emma considered. For weeks she'd resisted being Isabella, clinging to Emma like a life raft. But Dr. Price was right. They were both real. Both her. Do it, she said. Isabella Emma Harrison. Daniel took her hand. Squeezed. A daughter reclaimed that night. Sarah called with news. Edward reached out. Everyone froze. How? Daniel demanded. Email. Encrypted. Routed through a dozen servers. But he wanted us to see it. Sarah read. Tomorrow, midnight, Greenwood Cemetery, Laura's grave. Daniel comes alone with Emma. Or I start killing random people until they do. No police, no FBI, or everyone dies. It's a trap, Torres said. Obviously, Sarah agreed. But we can use it. He wants a dramatic confrontation. We give him one, on our terms. She spread blueprints across the table. Greenwood Cemetery, 478 acres. Lots of hiding spots. We plant plainclothes officers throughout. Snipers on the high points. Daniel and Emma go to the grave as requested. But they're wired, wearing vests. The second Edward appears. We close the net. And if something goes wrong, Daniel asked. Then I shoot him myself, Torres said. Emma looked at the cemetery map. Laura's grave was on a hill, exposed, perfect killing ground. He'll have contingencies, Emma said. Escape routes, maybe hostages. So do we, Sarah said. SWAT. Sharpshooters. Tech support monitoring everything. We've got advantages he doesn't know about. Or Robert and Catherine already told him everything, Emma countered. Sarah's jaw tightened. That's a risk, but we're out of options. Either we end this tomorrow, or we spend the rest of your life running. Emma looked at Daniel. What do you think? I think I'd rather die than let him hurt you again. Then we do it, Emma said. Together. They spent the evening preparing. Torres drilled Emma on hand signals. Escape routes. Sarah briefed the tactical team. Daniel sat alone in Laura's library staring at her photo. Emma found him there at 11 p.m. Can't sleep, she asked. Can't stop thinking about the last time I went to that cemetery to bury her. Daniel's voice broke. What if tomorrow I bury you too? Emma sat beside him. You won't. We're going to end this. And then, she took a breath. Then maybe we can start being a real family. Not defined by tragedy, but by choice. I'd like that, Daniel whispered. They sat in silence, surrounded by Laura's books, her orchids, her memory. Do you think she'd be proud of me? Emma asked. Of who I became? She'd be amazed by you. Your strength, your resilience, your heart. Daniel put his arm around her. I know I am. Emma leaned into him. For the first time, it felt natural. Right, Dad? She said quietly. Yeah, I love you. Daniel's tears fell. I love you too, sweetheart. So much. They held each other. Father and daughter reunited, the night before they'd faced the monster who'd torn them apart. Outside, the city glittered. Tomorrow, at midnight, everything would end, one way or another. The plan fell apart at 6 p.m. Emma was in the penthouse with Torres, going over the cemetery layout one more time, when the power cut out. Complete darkness. Torres! Emma called. Silence. Then a heavy thud. Someone, hitting the floor. Emma's heart hammered. She reached for her phone, but strong hands grabbed her from behind. A cloth pressed over her mouth and nose. Chemical smell, sweet and suffocating. She tried to scream, to fight, but her limbs went heavy. The world tilted. Darkness swallowed her whole. Daniel was in a meeting with Sarah and the tactical team when his phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Harrison, a voice said. Corrupted security guard. One of the new hires Marcus had vetted, or thought he'd vetted. There's been an incident at the penthouse. Daniel's blood froze. What kind of incident? You should come now. He ran. Sarah and Marcus followed. They burst into the penthouse to find chaos. Torres on the floor, unconscious but breathing, blood trickling from his temple, the safe room door blown open, and Emma's phone on the ground. Screen cracked. No, Emma. No, Daniel whispered. No, no, no. Sarah was already on her radio. All units, we have an abduction. Emma Harrison, 25. Last seen. Daniel's phone buzzed. Text message. Video file. His hand shook as he opened it. Emma, bound to a chair in what looked like a warehouse, gagged, terrified, and standing behind her, smiling at the camera, was Edward Carter. He looked older than his photos. 58 now. Graying hair, face weathered by violence and years on the run, but his eyes were young with madness. Hello, Daniel, Edward said to the camera. Surprised you thought you were so smart with your cemetery trap. But I'm always 3 steps ahead. He ran a finger along Emma's cheek. She flinched. Pretty little thing, isn't she? Looks just like Laura did, before I shot her. Daniel's vision went red. Here's how this works, Edward continued. You come alone. No police, no FBI, No tactical teams, just you. I'll send you the address in 10 minutes. You have 1 hour to get here, or I start cutting pieces off your daughter, starting with her fingers." He held up a knife. "Then we'll see how much she looks like mommy when I'm done." The video ended. Sarah grabbed Daniel's shoulders. "Don't even think about it. This is exactly what he wants. I don't care what he wants, he has my daughter. And if you go alone, he kills you both. We need to trace the video. Find the location." Daniel's phone buzzed again. An address in Red Hook, Brooklyn, abandoned shipping warehouse. 1 hour. The text read, "Come alone or she dies screaming." Marcus stepped forward. "Daniel, listen to me. We can track you. Plant surveillance." "No." Daniel's voice was ice. "He'll know. He knew about the cemetery, about our security, everything. He has people inside. We can't trust anyone." "Then what's your plan?" Sarah demanded. Daniel looked at her. "I'm going to trade myself for her. That's suicide. I don't care." Daniel grabbed his jacket. 25 years ago, I failed to protect Laura and Isabella. I was late, 23 minutes late. I've lived with that every day since." He headed for the door. "I'm not being late again," Torres groaned. Coming to, "Boss, I'm sorry." He was inside already, disguised as maintenance. "Not your fault," Daniel said. "Sarah, give me 15 minutes before you send backup. That's all I'm asking." "Daniel, 15 minutes. He was already out the door. Marcus and Sarah exchanged looks. "Get every unit we have to Red Hook," Sarah ordered. Quietly, "And pray we're not too late." Emma's head throbbed. She blinked in dim warehouse light, trying to focus. Her wrists were zip-tied to a metal chair, ankles too. Gag in her mouth tasted like chemicals. Edward Carter sat across from her, cleaning his knife. "You're awake. Good." He smiled. "I was starting to worry I'd used too much chloroform. Wouldn't want you to miss the show." Emma tried to speak through the gag. He laughed. "What's that?" "Can't hear you." He leaned close. "Oh, you want to know why? Why I killed your mother. Why I'm going to kill you and your father." He sat back. "Because you ruined my life, little girl. I had a plan. A perfect plan. Patricia and I were going to be rich, set for life. But your bitch mother had to play hero." He stood, pacing. 3 bullets. 3. And she still wouldn't let go of you. Even dying. She held on. So I had to pry you from her dead hands. You were covered in her blood, screaming. His face twisted. "I should have killed you then. Should have smashed your head against the wall and been done with it. But Patricia," he spat. "Stupid, sentimental Patricia couldn't do it." Emma's tears fell, hearing him talk about her mother like that. So casual, so cruel. "So I left. Let Patricia deal with you. Figured you'd die anyway. Baby alone with a crazy woman in a cabin. Long shot you'd survive." He crouched in front of Emma. "But you did. And now you're here. And finally, I get to finish what I started." He touched her face. Emma jerked away. "Don't worry. I'm not going to kill you yet. First, Daddy has to watch. Has to feel what I felt when Patricia ruined everything. When you ruined everything." He checked his watch. "He's got 40 minutes left. Think he'll make it." Emma tried to work her wrists against the zip ties. Too tight. She looked around desperately. Warehouse. Mostly empty. One exit visible. High windows. No help coming. She was on her own. Daniel drove through Brooklyn like a man possessed, running red lights, narrowly missing pedestrians. The address led to a block of abandoned warehouses near the docks. He parked, grabbed the gun he'd taken from his safe, a Glock 19 he'd bought after Laura's death and never fired, and approached on foot. The warehouse loomed ahead, rusted and dark, one door slightly ajar. Daniel pushed it open. "Edward, I'm here. Let her go." His voice echoed in the cavernous space. "Come on in, Daniel." Edward's voice came from deeper inside. "Don't be shy." Daniel walked forward, gun raised, eyes adjusting to the dimness. And then he saw her, Emma, bound to a chair, gag in her mouth, tears streaming. Edward stood behind her, knife to her throat. "Drop the gun," Edward said. "Let her go first. Drop the gun, or I open her throat right now." Daniel looked at Emma. She was shaking her head frantically, trying to tell him something, but he couldn't lose her. Not again. He dropped the gun. It clattered on the concrete. Edward smiled. "Good boy, now kick it away." Daniel did. "Now walk forward, slowly." Daniel took 5 steps. 10. "That's far enough." Edward pressed the knife harder against Emma's throat. A thin line of blood appeared. "You know what the best part is? You're going to watch her die. Just like I watched my whole life die because of your family. This isn't about her. It's about me. Let her go and kill me instead." "Oh, I'm going to kill you. But first." Edward raised the knife. Emma slammed her head backward into his groin with everything she had. Edward howled, stumbling. The knife clattered away. Emma threw herself sideways, chair and all, crashing to the floor. The chair splintered. Her hands were still bound, but she could move. Daniel lunged for the gun. Edward recovered faster than expected, tackling Daniel before he reached it. They crashed into metal shelving. Fists flew. Emma worked frantically at the zip ties with her teeth, the broken chair leg. "Come on! Come on!" They snapped. She ripped the gag from her mouth, scrambling for the knife Edward had dropped. The 2 men fought viciously. Daniel younger and stronger. Edward more experienced and vicious. They traded blows, grappling, crashing through the warehouse. Edward got on top, hands around Daniel's throat. Just like I should have done 25 years ago. Emma grabbed the knife, ran forward, and drove it into Edward's shoulder. He screamed, releasing Daniel, spinning toward her. "You little..." Gunshots exploded through the warehouse. Sarah and her team poured through the doors, weapons drawn. "NYPD, hands up!" Edward, bleeding, stumbled backward. His hand found Daniel's dropped gun. "No!" Emma screamed. Edward raised it, aiming at her. Torres fired, once, twice. Edward Carter fell. He hit the concrete hard, blood spreading beneath him. His eyes found Emma, hatred burning even as life faded. "Should have killed you when you were a baby," he gasped. "But you didn't," Emma said, standing over him. "My mother made sure of that, and she won." Edward's eyes went empty. It was over. Emma collapsed into Daniel's arms. They sank to the floor together, holding each other, shaking with adrenaline and relief and trauma. "You're alive," Daniel kept repeating. "You're alive, you're alive, you're alive." "So are you," Emma sobbed. Sarah approached slowly. "Ambulance is on the way. You both need to be checked." "We're fine," Daniel said, not letting go of Emma. "Daniel, you're bleeding. Emma has ligature marks, possible concussion." "We're fine," Sarah nodded, backing away. She'd seen enough trauma to know when to give people space. Torres appeared. "Boss, I'm sorry, I should have..." "You saved her life," Daniel interrupted. "Thank you." Torres nodded, throat tight. Emma looked at Edward's body, covered now by a tarp. The monster who'd haunted her entire life. Dead. Really dead. "Is it really over?" she whispered. Daniel kissed her forehead. "It's really over." Outside, sirens wailed. Crime scene techs arrived. The machinery of justice ground into motion. But inside the warehouse, father and daughter held each other. Survivors. Together. Finally safe. The hospital kept them overnight. Emma had minor cuts, bruising, and a concussion. Daniel had cracked ribs and a split lip, but they were alive. Sarah visited the next morning. "Edward Carter is dead. Patricia's cooperating, testifying against Robert and Catherine. They're looking at 20 to life." Sarah sat by Emma's bed. "It's over. Really over." Emma stared at her bandaged wrists. "Doesn't feel over." "It will. Eventually." Sarah pulled out a file. The complete case file, everything we found. Inside were 25 years of investigation. Emma traced the photo of baby Isabella in Laura's arms. "Your mother fought like hell for you," Sarah said quietly. "Every bullet hit her while she was shielding you. She never stopped protecting you." Emma's tears fell. "I wish I remembered her. Maybe that's a blessing. You don't remember the trauma either." Sarah stood. "But you can honor her, live the life she died to give you." After Sarah left, Daniel came in. "You should be resting," Emma said. "So should you." He sat on her bed. "I released a statement asking for privacy. What happens now is up to you. What do you want?" "I want to be your father, however that looks." Daniel's voice was rough. I missed 25 years. I don't want to miss another day. Emma squeezed his hand. Then let's not waste any more time. Torres drove them back to the penthouse. Maria was waiting with tears and empanadas. Dios mío, you're safe. She hugged Emma tight. You need to eat, both of you. For the first time in weeks, Emma laughed. Really laughed. Daniel watched, memorizing the sound. That evening, Emma asked Daniel to take her to Greenwood Cemetery. Are you sure? I'm sure. Laura's grave overlooked the city. The headstone read, Laura Ann Harrison, 1975, 2000 beloved wife, devoted mother. Hope is the thing with feathers, fresh orchids covered it. Daniel's weekly ritual. Emma knelt, touching the marble. Hi, Mom. I'm sorry it took so long to visit. Daniel stood back. I don't remember you. I wish I did. But Dad tells me stories. You were brilliant and brave. You died protecting me. Emma traced the inscription. I'm trying to be worth it, to be strong like you, to have hope. Emma pulled the silver bracelet from her wrist. She placed it on the grave. This brought me home, but I don't need it anymore. I know who I am now. I'm your daughter, and I'm going to make you proud. Daniel knelt beside her, hand over hers. She's home, Laura. Our baby girl is home, and I swear I'll take care of her. They stayed until sunset. Talking to Laura, when they left, the bracelet glinted on the grave. A circle completed. 2 weeks later, Emma met with Marcus about Star of Hope Foundation. Initial funding is $500 million, Marcus explained. 50 locations within 5 years. Each cafe employs youth, aging out of foster care. Salary, benefits, housing, education. Emma stared. $500 million. Your father insisted? Daniel shrugged. Laura would have wanted it. Emma signed. Isabella Emma Harrison. Her legal name. Her true name. I want to be involved, Emma said. Not just my name. I want to hire the kids, train them, be there. It's your foundation, Daniel said. Emma smiled. Then I'm all in. That night, Daniel said, I've been thinking. This penthouse never felt like home, but the Westchester house, where we lived as a family, where you were born, where we were happy. He turned to her. Maybe it's time to live there again, not as a shrine, but as a home. Emma thought about it. Can we change things, not erase her, but make it ours too? Whatever you want. Emma nodded. I'd like that. I'd like to live where she lived. The move took 3 weeks. They repainted the living room, covered the blood-stained floor with new hardwood. Emma's room kept the painted clouds but added her own touches. Emma replanted Laura's orchid garden. Mom loved orchids, but I'm adding a little of myself too. Daniel watched from the porch, heart full. 6 months later, Emma stood in front of the first Star of Hope Cafe. Behind the counter, 5 former foster kids stood nervously. Emma addressed them. I know what it's like. This cafe isn't charity, it's opportunity. You'll work hard, learn skills, earn real money. You're not projects, you're people, and you matter. One girl, Jasmine, 19, asked, Why are you doing this? Emma smiled. Because I am people like us. And my mother died so I could have a chance. The least I can do is give other people chances too. The cafe opened at 9 a.m. By noon, line out the door. Daniel watched Emma work the counter, laughing, being exactly who Laura would have wanted. Marcus appeared. You did good, Daniel. She did good. I just wrote a check. You gave her a foundation. She built a legacy. That night, Emma collapsed on the couch. Daniel brought hot chocolate. How does it feel? Like I'm finally doing what I was meant to do. Just me, helping people. Your mother would be so proud. Emma looked around. I think she knows. Outside, the garden bloomed. Inside, father and daughter sat together. A family rebuilt. A future reclaimed. Hope, finally, taking flight, 1 year after the rescue. Emma adjusted her dress in the mirror. Simple white, Laura's pearl necklace at her throat. You look beautiful, Maria said, tears streaming. Your mama would be so proud. I wish she could be here. She is in here. Maria touched Emma's heart. Daniel knocked. Can I come in? He stepped inside, stopped. Oh, sweetheart, you're stunning. It's just a dress. It's my daughter on her wedding day. Emma hugged him. You better not trip. These heels are killer. Are you happy? I am. Michael's a good man. He loves me for me. Michael Chen, a professor Emma met at Star of Hope. Quiet where she was fierce. Perfect balance. Then I'm happy. Ready. St. Patrick's Cathedral. 50 guests. Sarah and Torres in front. Marcus as best man. Maria sobbing. An empty seat held a single white orchid. Laura's seat. Daniel walked Emma down the aisle. I've got you. I know. He placed her hand in Michael's. Not losing her. Sharing her. The reception was at the Westchester Garden. Orchids in full bloom. Fairy lights everywhere. Emma danced with Michael, then Daniel, then Torres. Later, she found Sarah by Laura's memorial. She'd be happy, Sarah said. Seeing you free, loved, safe. Thank you for never giving up. You brought yourself home. I just helped. Daniel stood to give his speech. 26 years ago, I became a father for 6 months. Then everything was taken. He paused. I spent 25 years building empires. None of it mattered. He looked at Emma. But miracles happen. In subway stations, in tarnished bracelets, in daughters who refuse to stay lost. Isabella Emma Harrison, you survived hell and came out stronger. You took pain and turned it into purpose. He raised his glass. To my daughter, my miracle. To Emma. Emma embraced him. I love you, Dad. I love you too. Always. 5 years later, Emma stood in Union Square, staring at the bronze sculpture. 2 hands clasped, bracelet on the smaller wrist. Where love finds its way back. Isabella Harrison, lost. March 15th, 2000. Found. March 15th, 2025. A young woman approached. Are you Emma Harrison? Emma nodded. I work at Star of Hope. You saved my life. Emma hugged her. You saved your own life. But you gave me the opportunity. Then pay it forward. That's how we change the world. Emma's phone buzzed. Daniel, dinner tonight. Foundation hit 500 employees. I'll be there, she whispered to the sculpture. Thank you, Mom, for fighting, for protecting me. A warm breeze, Laura's presence. I'm okay now. I'm happy. I'm living for both of us. She touched the bronze bracelet, walked toward sunlight. That evening, Emma's 2-year-old daughter Laura toddled through the orchid garden. Michael chased her. Daniel sat with Maria, content. Emma watched from the doorway. Her family. Her home. Mommy. Little Laura ran toward her. Emma scooped her up. Hey, baby girl. Flowers. Grandma Laura loved these. Gamma Laura in heaven. Yes. Sweetie, watching over us. Love you, Mommy. Love you too, baby. Daniel approached. Emma stepped into his embrace. Michael joined. Maria snapped a photo. A family, broken and rebuilt. In the garden. Orchids bloomed. In the cemetery, a bracelet rested on marble. In the city, a bronze sculpture stood eternal. Emma closed her eyes and whispered, thank you to Laura, who gave everything, to Daniel, who never stopped searching, to herself for surviving, and to Hope, that thing with feathers that finally learned to fly.